Hi, Phyllis here from southernfrugal.com. Today, for lunch, we're going to have a country meal. Probably not very healthy, I don't know. But anyway, we're going to have some Fatback. Now, some of y'all might know what Fatback is. In the South, before everybody got so healthy, we used to put Fatback grease in everything, from green beans, collards, potatoes, any kind of bean. You always put Fatback in it. But now we've gotten a lot healthier. But what I thought I would do today is go ahead and fry out some Fatback, because that would be like our meat, even though it's only fat. It's got a great taste and just goes well with everything. Now, we only do this about once a year, sometimes not even that often, but just sometimes you got to have some Fatback, right? Now, I want to show you how I do it. Now, I got this Fatback at Walmart, and of course the Fatback still has the skin on it, so I just take that and cut it off with the scissors, and I soak it in some cool water for maybe 30 minutes before I cook it. Now I'm going to pour this off, so hold on. So I just drain that water out, and then I'm going to dump it out on some paper towels to dry it out. And I did put a little bit of oil in my skillet, and my skillet's getting hot now, so I'm going to dry this off really good. And we're going to fry this until it's really good and crispy. That's when it's so good. Now, if you're in the South, you already know about this, but if you're not, you've probably never heard of how we fix Fatback down here in these there parts. Now, my grandmother, when she started a meal, like for the middle of the day, first thing she did was fry out Fatback. And back then, the Fatback would be this wide, because they let the hogs, get older before they slaughtered them. Now, I guess the hogs are really young, because you can never get Fatback that big and wide anymore. All right, so I'm going to start layering these pieces in the skillet. And what we're doing is we're going to get all the fat, really the grease, out of them and cook them until they're actually crispy. And the way you'll know when they're done is they'll just kind of quit simmering, And I've got a lot here, so let's see if I can get it all in the skillet. Now, back in my grandmother's day, and really in my mother's day too, the Fatback didn't have that DHT and all those preservatives in it. It just had salt. They killed the hogs in the fall of the year, and then they salted down the fat, and that was your Fatback. And it was really used to just flavor everything. And it's interesting because, really, my grandparents didn't die from heart disease, and they ate Fatback all the time. I still don't think it's that good for you, but I'm not convinced that it, really hurts you that much. And of course, the way we eat it is once a year, if that. And I just do it because, I just want to remember how good fried out Fatback tastes, Let's see if I can get all of this right in the skillet. Let's see how narrow the pieces are now. It comes with the skin thing side on it. And I just take the scissors and cut that off. Now, my grandmother used to fry it out with the skin on it. And I swear to you, she would sit there and eat the skin too. And she had like false teeth. And she would just, we were always afraid she was going to break her teeth, But she would eat it and just chew on that fried out skin. It's unreal. Alright, now I'm going to cut the camera off because I'm going to cut my exhaust fan on, because this smell will get all over the house. It's not a bad smell, but I don't like to be able to, hours after I've cooked Fatback, still smell it in the house, I'm going to put all these in there, and I'm just going to cook it till all the fat cooks out, and it becomes crispy. Alright, I gotta wash my hands. All right, we'll be back in just a little while now. I will tell you, I've got my collards ready. I've peeled some potatoes and cubed them, and I've got some field peas with snaps in them already cooking, because it takes about 35 or 40 minutes to cook those. And I'm also going to cook some cornbread in the oven in my cast iron skillet. All right, so once this fatback gets all cooked and the potatoes will be somewhat done, then I'm going to go ahead and start my collards, which will take probably about 3 minutes in the pressure cooker. All right, we'll be back. Okay, we're back, and the fatback is completely cooked. It's crispy now, and we've got all the grease out of it, and I want to show you this. There's the grease that cooked out of it. It's a lot, okay? So what we're going to do, just to keep this country, I'm going to go ahead and take about a tablespoon of that out, put it right down in the field peas, another tablespoon, put it in the potatoes. I've already salted the field peas and the potatoes. Now here's what the fatback looks like. Can y'all see that? All right, let me just do a taste of a piece to show you. I'll try this one. All right. Watch this. You know what pork skins taste like, fried pork skins? This tastes very similar, but I think it's better. So, it's crispy, it's salty, and it's delicious, okay? Just really delicious. All right, what we used to do at Grandma's is, of course, hers would be much wider than this. And when the biscuits came out of the oven, put a couple of pieces inside the biscuit. Oh, so good, so good. All right, now, this is a meal that we don't have very often, y'all. I mean, hardly ever. So what I'm going to do is pour off this fatback grease, or most of it, and leave that brown in there. So that's maybe a tablespoon or so with the brown little drippings that the meat made. Now, what I'll actually end up doing is throwing this away, I know. But if I don't, we'll be putting it in stuff. So, all right, I'm going to turn my skillet on. Now, I went ahead and I cut the skillet off to let it cool, but now I'm going to heat it back up to about medium heat. Now I've got the potatoes in here, just cubed potatoes, get boiled with salt, and they got a little fatback grease on them. Same with the field peas and snaps. They've been cooking for about 35 minutes. And I did the collards. Let me see if you can see that. There. The collards in the pressure cooker with about, I don't know, less than half a cup of water. So now I'm going to take those out. Now I didn't even cut them up or anything. So I'm going to take those out and put them right down in that fatback grease. Now these really were baby collards is really what they were, so they didn't have to cook hardly any length of time. And I'm just going to take my scissors and cut them up. They're super, super tender. And we're going to let this come to a boil and let some of that water boil off of them. And do need a little bit of salt in them. Not much, but just a little bit. Just going to let that water boil off. Now I'm going to fix my cornbread. Now I've got my cast iron skillet in the oven, and it's got maybe a tablespoon or so of bacon grease in it. So we're just going to fix the cornbread right over here. So hold on. Alright, now this is not really any recipe, I just really throw this together. So, for the cornbread, I am using the stone ground yellow cornmeal mix this time. This is that House of Autry. So I'm just going to break an egg. And I don't really put any extra sugar in cornbread when I use the yellow cornmeal mix because it's much, much sweeter than the white. So just mix that up a little bit. I'm going to put just a little bit of oil in it, maybe a couple of tablespoons. That's good. And then I'm going to use whole milk buttermilk. I just got this yesterday, so it hasn't really been opened. Now, can y'all still see that? Yeah. All right, so we'll just put, I don't know what that is, 1.5 cups or so in with the egg and the oil, and just give that a quick mix up. And then I'm just going to dump the cornmeal mix in and make it a little bit thicker maybe than pancake mix. Because you want your cornbread moist. You really do. And the egg kind of holds it together. I need just a little bit more. Now I'm going to do it. Alright, now I'm just going to let this sit here. Actually, I need a little more cornmeal, I think. Just a little more. That ought to do it. And this is very much like a meal my mother or my grandmother would have made, except they didn't really use collards. They used mustard greens or turnip greens. I don't know why they never had collards, but anyway, we're in South Carolina now, and in South Carolina you eat collards. So, and by the way, they smell fantastic. Doesn't take but just roughly 3 minutes to cook them in the pressure cooker. If you cook them, you know, just like in a regular pot, it'd probably take 30, maybe 35 minutes. Alright, so I'm ready to dump this in my skillet, which is in the oven. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. When all this gets done, we'll be back. Alright, here's our country meal all ready. Here are the collards, the fatback. Of course, Mr. Bucky will come in and get more, I know. The field peas, just boiled potatoes with the fatback grease on them. Some beets that I just warmed up, no seasoning at all on those. They're just as they are. Some cornbread, and that butter's melting. Alright, so we're ready to eat. So this is just a really vegetable country meal with fatback. Alright, we'll see y'all next time.